Booking influencers, how to find and book influencers, a practical step guide to help you get started with your influencer campaign. Brought to you by our friends here at Afluencer.com. Who is this guide for? Influencer marketing newbies. If it's your first time to influencer marketing, welcome. We are here to guide you through. If you've tried various things in the marketing world and they haven't quite worked out, well, we have some ideas for you, again, around influencers and creators. If you don't have time to waste, you just need something that works, get traffic to your website and get sales, well, we've got you covered here. If you're a business looking to scale your current influencer marketing efforts, we will talk about current best practices and things that we find are working very well in the industry today. Finally, for those brands who are looking for a simple and scalable marketing solution, we've got you covered here for any type of budget, whether we've got $50 to work with, $100 or $100,000, we have a solution for you on the influencer marketing side. Which brings us into step one, finding the right influencer for your specific brand. Gabriella Millian here might be the perfect influencer for your brand. We don't know, but what we try to do is match up your demographics for your customers with her followers. So that's kind of the key here, is that you've got a certain type of product, you know what type your ideal customer is, and we're looking for an influencer with content, with followers who match up nicely with those demographics. So we're talking about location, potentially, we're talking about gender, we're talking about age ranges. You know what your ideal customer is, and then we are trying to match that up. So when we're talking about gender and age distribution, are you looking to reach 20-somethings, 30-somethings, 40-somethings, 50-somethings? Do you have a gender preference? This is what we're doing with our influencer analytics, and we're actually pulling this from Instagram with verified follower counts, gender and age distribution. Interests, beauty, whether you got a beauty product, fashion, or maybe you're doing software, maybe you're doing health, wellness. What we want is to make sure that the interests of your potential customers, again, are well aligned with the interests of the influencers who we may be matching you up with. Social media channels, also important. What do you think your ideal social media channel is? Are you open? Do you not care? Could it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or TikTok, or do we have a preference there? Certain types of products do lend themselves better to certain types of platforms. Beauty product might do better on Instagram, whereas something that's a little more cerebral, shall we say, to describe, like software, might lend itself better to YouTube. A lot of finance products now are being pushed very successfully on TikTok. So we're talking about doing the influencer demographics match here with a few clicks. So we can select the interests, the social media channels, location preferences, gender, age group, so on and so forth. Big budget question is, do we need to go to macro influencers, or can micro influencers help us out? And really, we don't need to work with costly 1 million plus follower influencers just to have a successful campaign. The reason is that these large followings that these macro influencers have, they actually tend to have lower engagement rates and less specific, more general audiences. As marketers, we want more specificity in our marketing efforts. Now, why does this engagement rate term matter? It matters because it reflects the number of followers that actually engage with an influencer's content versus just the total number of followers. So it's kind of like doing a Super Bowl commercial where you may reach the world, but nobody's really paying attention. They're eating their Dorito chips and having fun, just kind of joking around with family and friends, versus a very targeted ad, direct response type marketing. Could be a Google or Facebook ad. That's what we're looking at here, where we're looking to post something on social media that's very specific and getting in front of your ideal type of customer. That's going to be reflected in a higher engagement rate. Now, this is calculated by looking at the total number of engaged followers, engaged being likes or comments, and then we're dividing that by the total number of followers. That's what equals your overall engagement rate. Let's go through an example. A micro influencer has 10,000 followers with an engagement rate of 10%. That means there's about 1,000 followers who are actively engaging with their content. Let's contrast this with a macro influencer who may have many more followers, 500,000 in this case. Lower engagement rate of 0.5% means there are only 2,500 followers actively engaging with their content. So we're talking about 2 or 3 micro influencers could be just as effective as one macro influencer, but much more cost effective. What we like to actually do is plot the engagement rate, where we measure it not only by total engagement rate, but also by the average number of followers. So we actually kind of assign each influencer along this curve on the engagement rate and see how they're doing with respect to other influencers with similar following. So macro influencers generally going to get you a lower engagement rate. The micros get us a higher, more engaged following. The benefits of working with the micro influencers, again, high engagement rates. They're often much more affordable. So you can work with a micro influencer at, maybe a 10th, 1/20th of the cost of a macro influencer. They're more accessible. They're up and coming. They're building their business. They're building their brand. They're building their following. And also from a scalability standpoint. So as we talked about, we can work with a few micro influencers, and that can be just as effective as with a big macro influencer. And if we want a lot of buzz on social media, more is always going to be better for us. So this is how we handle it, where we kind of toggle the total audience up and down when we're looking for influencers. So if we want people with 50,000 and we decide we want micros, we might just toggle this back down the chain down to 5,000 or so. Now, when do we want to collab with the macro influencers? Well, hey, if we're looking for a brand awareness campaign, we really want to reach the masses at once, then booking macro influencers, of course, helps us achieve that. If we've got a big budget to work with, we can just go for it. Still going to be more cost effective than some traditional online advertising methods. The best place, of course, to start your search for influencers is on Afluencer.com. It's the place where influencers, creators, and brands meet up. What we do is we've got sort of the central place called the collab directory, where brands post the collabs, then influencers come in here and they find these. And again, we're broken down by interest, by channels, locations, all these types of filters that we had mentioned. We've got all of our nice influencer profiles in here, so you can also search our influencer directory and then click through to find that ideal influencer that was presented by our filters. So the best way to get your brand discovered by our macro and micro influencers, creators. Stay tuned in our next session and we will find out.